I'm Vegas Runner, and this is my town.
Welcome to another edition of Meet the Pros podcast, a pregame.com production. I'm Marco D'Angelo, and I'm joined today with one of our mainstays here at pregame.com, Vegas Runner. VR, how you doing tonight?
Never better, Marco.
Live from the Las Vegas Strip, and you've been in this town for how many years now?
I believe this will be August. Actually, this August I came in August, and this will be my 13th year.
Great stuff. What brought you to Las Vegas? I wanted to ask you, tell our listeners about Vegas Runner, the person, and what got you here, and then we're going to talk about Vegas Runner, the handicapper.
The Vegas Runner story of finally getting to Vegas is a long one, but I could sum it up for you pretty quickly. It started for me back in Philadelphia. That's where I was born and raised, and growing up there, you kind of learn to get by on your wits. And I was raised around a lot of guys that were into bookmaking, were into gambling, so I eventually and very quickly fell into it myself. And actually, I fell in love with it, to be honest with you, from the start. I mean, I was first introduced as a bettor, but it took me probably a month to realize I want to be a bookmaker. And because after paying the guy 3-4 weeks, I realized I need to start being the guy people are paying. So I decided to start booking. And believe it or not, I was in middle school, and I started handing out football pools. And then I moved on to high school, and at that time I was introduced to the point spread, and everything changed. Then it became real bookmaking, not just the pools. And actually, I really just started booking from then. From 16 years old, Marco, I started bookmaking, and my book just grew. It just grew and grew and grew. And eventually, I was taking enough action that I was infiltrated by sharp money. You know, once sharp money knows that there's good pay and this guy's willing to take a good amount, they're going to infiltrate your book. And that's what happened to me. After a couple months of paying the same kid every week, I asked the kid, what are you doing, man? Where are you getting these games? You know, to me, everyone lost. Mm-hmm. Everybody was a loser. That's
why the Vegas lights are built the way they are.
Nobody wins. Nobody beats me. And then people were laying 120, 6-5. You know, it wasn't that easy to get a bookmaker. Anyway, to make a long story short, this kid tells me I'm moving these games for some other people. And I'm not going to lose. That's his exact words. Ace, I'm not going to lose. You could cut me off like everyone else has done, but you're not going to get your money back. You could be smart and start finding guys and moving it and betting on top of it, or you could cut me off like everyone else did. And right then, man, a light went off. And I said, you know what? This kid's beating me 3 months straight. Why not? What do I got to lose? And I took it from there. I started moving their games. Eventually, I was introduced to more outfits that wanted people that were going to move for them. And that's what I did. I gave up bookmaking, and I just started moving steam plays. Everybody knows, you know, back then where the steam plays originated. Everybody knows the names, the syndicates. And we were getting them plays back in Philadelphia. And I was in one of them main offices that we were getting to play real early. I mean, I was hitting books, Marco, before Don Best would update them. I mean, 10, 15 minutes later. Not like now where when we beat a move, these guys beat it by 30 seconds and they get excited, or by 3 minutes. We were beating it by 10, 15, 20 minutes. This is before the internet.
Well, you guys were the move.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. And what people don't understand, how moving steam works, what you need, you're booking their action. The way you get the game is by booking his action. Let's say that the outfit's outfit A. For me to get the play, I have to book his action at the number he wants. So he's going to call me and he's going to say, Ace, I want Minnesota -4. I got to give him -4 at the prearranged amount. Now my responsibility is to find it elsewhere. And that's what I started doing. And I was really good at finding bookmakers. I wasn't afraid to leave Philadelphia. I went to New York. I mean, we went up to Canada. We went south. We were finding bookmakers everywhere, Mark. I mean, we got burned a lot, don't get me wrong. And then eventually I learned that if a guy was giving me newspaper odds, don't even use them because he's not going to pay me, you know what I mean? So I was in Philadelphia, a couple buddies of mine, you know, we all invested. We had a card house. It was great, you know. I left Philadelphia and I went to Europe. I went to Greece. My father passed away, took my mom, moved her over to Greece. And the opportunity arose for me to come to Vegas and move these games for the friends of mine back in Philadelphia. While I was in Europe for almost 2 years, they had really grown. And I mean, they got really closer with the main source of where these games were coming from, if you know what I'm saying. So the opportunity came to have someone in Vegas, and I was trusted, and I came out here. And I was one of them guys that woke up every morning, went, picked up money, had a two-way radio, one taped to my chest, earpiece in my ear, and I would walk around the Las Vegas Strip and wait for someone to yell Dallas -3, and it was off to the races, man, because I had to get down before they moved. And what you got to remember is back then, offshore wasn't around. And the competition was for these sports books here. So you know how offshore is given 10% bonuses, 50% reloads. The competition here was, we're going to put out our own number, or we're going to pay higher odds on parlays. And that was the gimmick. So by these sports books all creating their own number, that gave us arbitrage. That took moving steam to another level. That took it to now not only are we going to handicap, are these guys going to handicap and we're going to bet these games and beat them, but we're going to spend all day middling them to death. Because this guy's opening Dallas -7, and he's opening Dallas -9.5. And you know how huge that is.
Absolutely.
And what we would do is, I would be at, let's say, at the Hilton, and my other buddy at Bally's, and another one at the Stardust, and each place would open their numbers, and we would just talk to each other. What's the opening number, where the difference is, create our own arbitrage, and then spend the rest of the day getting orders from the handicappers, from the outfits I was working for, and betting their games. I was running up and down the strip betting these games.
Great.